40% of the world's people do not receive adequate and balanced nutrients to meet their basic dietary requirements. Malnutrition is a serious health issue that is often not addressed or even looked at by people because it's one of those hard issues to look at. But it's definitely something we should be talking about more. In order to ever solve this problem, we need to deeply understand it and understand all its complex aspects. And today I'd like to give you some basic knowledge about malnutrition. I'd like to go over what it means to be malnourished, what are some of the main causes of malnutrition, where it is most prevalent both in the world or in the US or even our community, and what we can do to stop it. So now I'd like to go over what it means to be malnourished. There are two main types of malnutrition. The first being micronutrient deficiency, which is when a person is lacking key vitamins and minerals, such as iron, vitamin A, and iodine. So even people who are anemic are technically malnourished. Obesity also falls into this category, which we would also not commonly think of being malnourished. We also have protein energy malnutrition, which is a lack of protein and calories that we get from like the big food items. There are two subcategories, one being acute malnutrition, including wasting, so when a person appears extremely thin and frail. There's also nutritional edema, which is extreme swelling or bloating. There's also stunting, where a person will just appear very small, like they didn't fully develop. In the most extreme cases, we have wasting and stunting, but those are often not seen in the US. Now that we know what malnutrition is, I'd like to go over some causes. Lauren Anderson did a study a few years ago and found what I believe to be three very common or very possible causes of malnutrition. The first being financial reasons. Often communities or even countries just simply can't afford to buy food, whether it be a lot of nutritious food or just any at all. Also, politics could play a role in it. It could be that more well-off countries aren't willing to go help those who need it the most, or even help those in their own country who need it. Also, proximity and resources could play a big role in people being malnourished. It could be that communities or countries just aren't close enough to get the resources, or they're so desolate in places like a desert they can't grow their own. And where in the world or in our community, in the US, is it most prevalent? We also often think about it being in like Africa or somewhere far away from us, but it's definitely can be in our own backyard. According to Feeding America, in a 2015 study, 42.2 million Americans lived in a food insecure household. So that means that they didn't know where their next meal was going to come from, or if they were even going to get a next meal. And with this, if people have little money, when they do have some, they go and spend it on the cheapest food they can get, which is often processed with no nutritional value. They go for quantity over quality. The study found that Mississippi was the most food insecure state, with a 20.8% rate of households being insecure. Texas was number 11 on the list, with a 15.4% food insecurity rate. But what can we do to help? We could go big scale and do mission trips, which are great. We could also do local stuff, like work at a local food bank or help with the local Meals on Wheels program. It's also very important to make sure that you yourself are getting the proper nutrients and that those around you or close to you are getting the nutrients that they need to stay healthy. And I hope that this provided some valuable information about what it means to be malnourished, what are some of the main causes, where it's most prevalent, and what can be done to help. Malnutrition is apparent everywhere, even if it's not obvious to the eye. We often can't say that that person's malnourished, but it can also often be a very big issue. And there are many ways we can help. Not always the most obvious ways, but even helping the person next to you get food will be big. Thank you.